I wanted to record a video earlier today, this morning in fact, after I, see that? Reinstalled the operating system again. This time I had killed myself by not deleting or anything, but I was getting all upset with this Windows management what's it called? Instrumentation. WBEM. This thing. And WMI Perverse, whatever it is. It's a host program. I thought that host program, whether it's true or not, I don't know, was taking my program and hiding it, from the file system and from the running processes and everything. In fact, that was going on, but I don't know if it had anything to do with this. I think much more likely is it had to do with this other program, the macros thing, which is so pathetic to begin with. The fact that it uses COM at all is retarded. This here is a server for, if you want to record a keyboard macro in MSDev, instead of, taking that 3 lines of code and putting it in the program, they make it all general. So when you go to record a keyboard macro, I guess you could be running Notepad and it would work, maybe. But of course it doesn't work with Notepad or anything. It only works with this program. And it's ridiculously slow because it's COM. Like for instance, the first time, it will probably start up fast now, I tried to open this Macro Explorer. This here. I pressed the button. You see that was pretty quick. But that's because my system is running at maybe like 60, 70 times the normal speed of a computer nowadays. There we go, that's better. So the very first time it started up, it took so long that that special balloon came up that says MSDev is waiting for a component to start functioning and will resume shortly. Please be patient, right? Waiting, and the balloon came up again, and you can't get out of that thing. Like you can't say, okay, stop waiting and forget about it, because it's using this DCOM. I don't know what the D stands for, dynamic maybe, but I've used it before, and there's no breaking out of a call, right? Like the way you code something with this DCOM is just as if it were a local thing, right? So in your program, you might have a pointer to some object, the object, and it could be on your machine or it could be another machine on the network or whatever. And then you would go do something, record macro, right? And well, that's it. Once this starts, there's no stepping in to say stop recording, right? This is a synchronous call, like those Marshall calls, and so your program doesn't get to the next line until this complete. And there's if you tried to break out of it in another thread, it would just hang. It wouldn't be successful in breaking the connection. I mean, I've tried. Years ago, I tried to figure out if there was some way, when this thing got into a hung state, to break out of it, and I couldn't find any solution. It was only a test, in fact. We never used that. But anyway, this thing's always been trouble ever since they switched it to this calm thing. And now it probably won't work at all. And that's intentional. Oh, it worked. Oh well. Now let me see. Okay, well it started up. It has to start up as me. Where's the username? User. Okay. It has to start up as me, but it does. You know, I realized that a feature that would be really great to have in this window. You know how some processes have this privilege to impersonate another user or group or something. I would like to have a privilege called cannot be impersonated, right? Like a special type of user called a human that no other component of the system can impersonate. If that were true, right, you could still have all the other features, right, that the impersonation stuff allows, except if you want to make sure of one thing, say, like if I want to make sure that this application doesn't get auto-started by anything, then I have to make sure that my user is the only one that has access, and that no other component of the system can impersonate me. Then I would feel safe to go online at the same time as running that keyboard method. It's not safe apparently for me to do that. Even though I've locked this pretty heavily. Okay, these are all explicit denials. The only one I have very minimal, I can read and execute, and that's it. No, okay, well, it's not a folder, so the slash means if it's a file. So I can execute, read the data. You need this, I think. Read the data, execute, and read. Maybe I can get, I don't know what the difference between read and read data is. I could try turning this off. What does that do? See. So what? So I don't even have to have that. Of course, it's already loaded. I have to kill it. Try that. Yeah. Okay, it's gone. I'll try my macro. Now the first time it failed last time too. It's failing. It's not starting out. But I think if I just restart the program, it'll work. I just gotta reset something. There, see? No. But that's not really what I want to talk about. I've been struggling with my system, trying to figure out what's going on. And it might be that I'm just chasing a wild goose. But in the meantime, I've been part of that struggle is developing this registry editor. And that's coming along pretty good. Am I building it? No, I was testing it. I invented a new class, so this will probably fail. It derives from string, and it's just for those GUID things. See, it's a GUID string, and it can only be of the GUID format. Internally, it's always that sort of string, because everything is private in terms of TS string, so you can't modify it through that interface. And there are two ways to declare it. One with an actual GUID, that can't go wrong, and a string. And in the case when it's a string, if the string is not a valid GUID, it just assigns itself to be the null GUID. It's all zero. So for instance, use that here. T and GUID. Oops. GUID string. With that. It takes that as a constructor. Oh, that's being assigned at the same time. And then not, it has an operator not. So 2 nots would mean valid. So that's the same. In fact, this is the code I wanted to change. Put somewhere else. What's going on? Let's see if that compiles. Should. There's too much in this file. Let's see. 600 lines. Now, why is this so slow? I don't know. Yep, that's it. No power. I think something came up and I got distracted and I was in the middle of something. Trying to write the code. Oh, I haven't even compiled it. The code for deleting I had written, and then I commented it all out because things had changed, and none of what I had was really valid anymore, so I commented it out. It seems to have compiled. It's odd. I don't believe I compiled it before. I've never written down, like, I keep trying to record this video and getting sidetracked all the time. And this is another one. I never really paid much attention to the order of calls for this, and I just noticed now. Seems I learn a new thing, a new big important thing every day. Yes, yeah. Well, let's see that. I need to make it more visible. PCTS. PLL name. Where are you? Okay. See now. Visible. Very visible. Dawn. Alright. Come on. Because I thought that these things get called for every thread and every, I thought it did like it said. Never mind. Double clicking that I finally got working doesn't work anymore. See that? No, this is not close enough. I noticed my voice in my last attempt at this was not coming through very well. So I might keep some of that last attempt. Oh, well, that explains it. But why did it run? If this DLL didn't build, there's something very strange going on where the files, no, it's probably because I've turned off various services that are supposed to keep track of these things. For instance, like I won't be able to compile the program because it says cannot write to exe file. I look in the process list, it's not running. I look on the drive, it's not there. Just disappeared. Oh dear. Info trace. Oh, that's true. I have to get rid of those. I think this should be visible. The way it appears to occur is if your program has doesn't launch any threads other than the program itself, then only these two will get called. So it's bracketed by this. Any threads launched, I'm guessing, we'll find out in a minute. Any threads launched during the progress of the execution of the program will have these bracketing their starting and stopping. And so they all should be matched up, and the last thing that's seen should be this: no thread detached, and that appears to be the case because I'm not getting a memory leak anymore, and the way I thought it worked was that even the main thread, for the main thread, there was indication with this message, but there doesn't appear to be. So if I want to free some memory in that's specific to the main thread, or at all, if it's a global thing that needs to be released at shutdown, then it has to be under this notification. I'll pause this. Okay, now let's just see. Here is the answer to the mysteries. For dollars, here are some dollars. Process detach, set the last one. Thread detach, thread attach, and there should be a I'm get rid of this thread. That's why I put a file warning so I would know where to turn them on. Anyway, I know there's a process attached here. Okay, so there's the answer to that. Now, why do I care? It's a matter of some interest. I don't currently have edit undo defined to do anything, so I can use that as a hotkey to run little experiments on edit undo. Okay. Where should I put that? I don't have a file called edit. Oh, this sort of called edit. That's no, it's the wrong class. Put it where, oh, undo redo. Okay. I did start working on the idea. It's not high priority. Undo. Message box. Now, how do I get the current file time? With current time and file time. I got file time. I have a function, I think. That's tick count. I have a bunch of time utilities, which I hardly ever use, so I don't know. Time. Okay, this is in system time mode. Well, it doesn't matter actually. It comes out the same. Local time. Caption. Yeah. It should get called when I type Control Z. It'll print out the time. Or display the time. I found that you gotta be careful with these little arrow things. Because it's not the same as plus, it's more like plus equals. Message box W, that's true. Alright then. Because it's going to use an incremental build. Doesn't matter what you set. If you think you don't want incremental builds, tough luck. you're going to get incremental build, because there's no other way for the compiler to build other than incremental. Well, maybe for the executable it doesn't matter, but for the DLLs you can't build them one after, the way I got it set up. They can't be built one after another because they all depend on each other. And so they all fail to link because I don't know why it doesn't do it. It can, in theory. The compiler doesn't emit a lib file unless the DLL file gets produced. But the DLL files won't get produced unless they can find all the link files it needs. So what I gotta do is tell it to ignore imports, build anyway, and that builds the link file, and then I can compile everything. In fact, not the link files, the lib files. In our company, when I used to work for this company, working on a big project, the lib files were never deleted. Like when we would run the clean solution type thing, that would first zip up the lib files and then clear out all the object files and everything else, and then restore the lib files. Use byte string of form. Oh yeah, right. That's what idea I'm looking at. One failed. Yeah. Yeah, and so it never mattered to what's in the link files as long as they're there. You hit compile enough times and eventually it sorts itself out. But anyway, let's see what this does now. I'm going to show you something of interest. Okay, you see that time there? Alright. Now, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this code exactly and put it at a different location in the code, non-common. Here, let's say, search place. Oh, double clicking was working. Why is it stuck? Which is the one when I actually press a key? Okay, this is in the GUI. Oh, actually, that's where I could put it. But anyway, yeah, I'll take this code. This great massive piece of code. And I'll put it under this. This is when I press the find button. And then one more spot. It still only got one spot. Okay, first scan. So I don't want it to keep coming up like this once. If that's equal to null, so else, right? I could say here, if not first scan. code. Because actually I don't need these traces anymore. I was having a lot of trouble with this, trying to advance the search to the next line. Okay, so actually, if first scan, delete the trace. Keep that. Must always close up your ifs. If first scan, I'm going to bring up the same message. But this here is in the worker thread that does the scanning, so it's not the same thread as the first. And what you're going to see is that the same code behaves differently. Identical code. It's another reason, another thing that makes multi-threading a challenge. Because you're staring at the same code, right? You're not necessarily staring at the same thread all the time. Now, what did I say? I do Control F. There it is, like before. And I type in something. This is going to bring up an assertion. But before that, oh god, I didn't change it for both. Did I? Let's see, I'll show you the assertion. It should have come up differently. I'm not sure why it came up the same. See that the fact that it's a separate thread makes this, gives you the oh, actually it's not going to find it yet. Gives you a feeling of more control, I think. Just wanted to show you this assertion. At least you're not staring at nothing. Now here is a corrupt registry setting, and I'll show you that in fact it is corrupted. A, because I'm scanning through all possible string lists in the registry, and this is the only assertion that comes up, so it's an unusual case. And you can see the string here, NUS, starting from here, right, after these FDs, NUS, and then the last first, so there's 0, and then that's the end of the buffer, right? It's supposed to be double null terminated, but this one's not. Who has placed this string in the registry? The string list in the registry? Control panel, desktop, MUI cache. The culprit, Explorer, has corrupted the registry, and it's the only one you'll find in the registry having that nature. The program rightly once it finds that there's a bug here, even in release mode, it will return and not even return that NUS string, because you can't trust a corrupt registry. Now, let's see now, why did that not work? Now look at my And that's what led to all this stuff, which I now understand. And now I call a function early on called use short times string. Short time. Okay. Now this uses thread local storage. This gets the out of the thread local storage a keyword value and the what I'm going to return set value at index to address of that, and it's been changed. It has to be changed because it's using a short one. Now let's see. Get use short times. Get TLSD word if that and that return true. If that and if that equals same thing, return true. Right? Maybe I'm not calling it for. Oh, yeah, that might explain it. Not using the DLL. Oh, I just changed something. Oh yeah, I got rid of those strings. Okay. I won't let you suffer to the baby much. Okay. It's a 1 here, being called from leave selected. I'll let it draw use that value to draw the time here in short format. Put it back. Okay, 1 in the GUI thread, right? And back 1. Now, why is it coming back? Get TLSD word star if it's initialized to 0. Now, I know that there's a malloc because I get a print memory leak if I don't free it. Okay. Definitely in a different thread. Thread crawl. Now that's an interesting bug. How come it's coming up? Okay, now where maybe I'm setting that value in both threads by accident. Set. Let's get where's set. Here's here. Should say set. That's what this function does. Win name. Oh no. Thread proc. I see. Okay, I'll turn this one on. I probably need it in both. For my demo, I don't need it. I want you to see it. Actually, no, it shouldn't have. This thing only reads. It doesn't write anything. The thread prop. If it reads and if it finds a particular string, post a message back to the main GUI thread. So actually, I don't know why I've got that there. Ah, look, see? Well, can't write. I'm pretty sure that it's that macro thing. Okay. That should work this time, I think. I hope. Okay. Short time string. Type something in. Long time string. See? Same function, and you get a different result. And that's the magic and the beauty of thread local storage. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. Because anything like that, any difference between the two threads might lead to a clue about a bug sometime in the future. Like next year I'm running this program and something's wrong, and I notice some of the registry keys have short time strings and some have long time strings. So that'll help me pin down where the bug is. Okay, I got a bunch of things to talk about, but I have to try to gather my thoughts. No.